What is up there, SEO pros? We're back with Jake. We're teaching him the SEO basics, and I thought maybe you guys would like to see this stuff as well. Oh, this needs to be resized. Let me see if I can fix this really quick. Okay. What is going on? I don't know why this display is so weird right now. Stretch to screen. There we go. Okay. So, we're actually going over Backlinko's post, and we kind of covered some of the basics like domain age, keywords appear in top level domain. Basically, the reason why I'm teaching off of this instead of something like an SEO checker is because it's a pretty comprehensive list. But let's just keep going through it. So we're just talking about the keyword in the title tag. Jake already knows about that. Title tag starts with a keyword. So apparently if you have your keywords like more to the left of your title tag, like they appear first, apparently that's supposed to be more helpful. So if we like look at, you know, like iPhone repair, Santa Barbara, I'm of course putting the keywords here first versus like putting this and then the keywords to the right of it. Because apparently having your keywords closer to the left, because they read it first, is supposed to help you rank higher. Also, it's probably supposed to help users, because like apparently the click-through rates, which means like the amount of people who see this divided by the amount of people who click on it, helps you rank higher. So of course, if they see that first, like a keyword that they're looking for, it's probably going to be more helpful to have it to the left versus them having to read the whole thing and then maybe not click on it, right? Okay. So keyword and description tag. So the meta description, like we were talking about, this doesn't actually have a ranking factor. It's just going to help with click-through rates, which is supposed to be a ranking factor because it shows up, your keywords show up in bold, right? So basically how that works too, Jake, is like anything that you type in here is going to show up perhaps in bold. So it could be Santa Barbara, it could be iPhone repair, it could be the whole phrase. If you put in like Android repair, then it would of course highlight anything around that as well. See, we have a page there on iPhone repair, and of course the only reason we're ranking for it is because we have a page for it, right? Which is why it's so important to take all the other associated keywords and then rank for those. This also helps you rank your other pages higher because you have more like associated content with your main content, right? So like if we click into this, this also links back to our other main pages, and when Google reads these pages, what they do is they look at the links, they crawl them, and then it sees, oh, this page is pointing back to the home page. That means the home page is important, right? So having more pages like that that are linking back to the other important pages helps those other pages rank higher. Keyword is most frequently used in used phrase and document. So this is something people talk about as like ranking factors like keyword density. So like if you have your keyword appear a bunch in here versus like any other keyword, it's supposed to help you rank higher or something. I try not to focus on that kind of thing. If you did want to use something to check that though, the best I found is this tool I was going to show you. Let me see if I can log into it. So what you can do here, Jake, is this is like a whole pretty much comprehensive SEO tool. And if we were to go to like page optimization and go to top 10 optimizer, you can see we can put our keywords, right? So we'll put HTTPS or HTTP iPhone repair. We'll just take it over here. So we'll grab that. So that's our web page. Our keyword is iPhone repair Santa Barbara. And the way we know that is because we logged into something like Keyword Finder or KW Finder, which I think you've seen before, right?
Yeah.
And then we just looked, and I'll just show you. So if we type in iPhone repair, so this is how we were able to see like, okay, 316 searches, 19 difficulty, Looks pretty doable. So we're just going to go back to here. So we know that's what we want. And then what it'll do is if we press get high ranking pages, it'll show us all the top pages that are ranking for this keyword. And it'll compare our result to their result. So right now it's Yelp. We want to take that out because we don't want to be, Yelp's kind of like an arbitrary, like, we're not going to get really good information from that. So let's just grab a different one from here. We'll try this one. So now we have 3. These are all people in Santa Barbara. So we'll press get top 10. And this happens pretty fast. What up, guys? Got 17 people watching. Alright, so if we go in here, you can see it says 26%. Now, this is sort of an arbitrary metric, but it's still something you can kind of use to gauge, and this is by far, in my opinion, the best tool you can use to like start checking things. So if you look at it, it says these are like the different like things that it's looked at, right? So anchored text. This has to do with backlinks. This one has to do with on page, and then other stuff. So let's go to the page optimization first, because that's the most important thing we're looking at right now. So keyword use in body text, you can see that this is passed. So it'll tell you the body text is visible text of your web page, yada yada. This is your body text, so this is all of the content inside of that page, right? Okay. You can see it highlights all of the keywords that we put in there, and then it'll show you. So complete search term iPhone repair Santa Barbara. So you can see none of the competitors are using that complete search term, except for us, which is using it 3 times. That would make our keyword density 1.9% out of the entire document. Okay. And then the number of words we have is 642. And you can see all of the different pages that are ranking and the keyword counts that they have. And generally, as you start comparing these pages, you'll see that the higher ranking pages usually have more words. Okay. And then better, certain amounts of keywords showing up. And then you'll see all of the words iPhone repair Santa Barbara combined, we have about a 5.9%, and we're saying about 38 times versus these guys who are saying like only 10, 27. So many people are using 42. Now, this actually has like a good estimation on whether or not you should be using like 5.9. You can see it says okay. If it's at like a 10 or something, I think it'll say like over optimized. And then what you can do is you can just go in and remove some of these words or just change them to other variations of keywords. Okay. So you could say instead of iPhone, you could just say like your mobile device or something, okay, right? So you can see keyword use in page title. Just go to the next one. So you can see we're using the complete search term once, which would make it 44% of the title. And then for all the words combined, 44. So it says good, good. And then H1s, H2s. So these are all of our H tags. Now, if you don't know what these are, Jake, I think you do. There's different elements. Like that's an H1, that's an H2. It's said that the H1 is the most important tag next to like the title tag. So of course you'd want to put your keywords in there, and then hopefully like semantic variations of your other keywords within the other tags. So that's what we're looking at here. You can see it says we're actually over optimized. So maybe we shouldn't use the exact search term. Maybe we should, I don't know. The other thing is that you can take this like with a grain of salt, and if we're ranking well already, probably don't have to experiment with it. But the cool thing is like you can change this stuff, and then what you can do is you can take your page, you can go to your search console like this, and we could go to iPhone repair, and what you can do is you can say you change any page, you can just put it in here, press fetch, and then you can ask to get this index, and sometimes this will get indexed within like a couple hours. Okay. And if it does, you usually see within like the next day or two whether or not the changes you made had an effect. Okay. And I found that after correcting a lot of the things in here, it'll actually make it go higher. So keyword use and body bold text. So apparently another ranking factor, Jake, is when you use like bold and italics for your main, like for your keywords. You only want to do this like a couple times per page, like 2 to 3 times, because otherwise it looks spammy. I don't even think we're doing it on this page. But you can see that here, same sort of deal, meta description. So you kind of get the point, right?
Yeah.
So you can just go through there. So that was just kind of give you a showcase of what we're talking about with the, like sort of the keyword density and that kind of thing. But like I said, a lot of it you just want to kind of take with a grain of salt. And as you start experimenting with these things, you'll realize it's like a lot of the time, Jake, you don't have to be putting tons of the same like keyword over and over like some people do. You're fine mentioning it a couple times, like in the title and the heading tag, and then having the rest of the content being like other things related to like what people would want to see. Google's smart enough these days to kind of know what the page is about, right? Okay, without needing to spam it. So content length, we already know about that, how important that is. Keyword density, we just talked about that. LSI, which means the semantically related keywords, the ones that you see at the bottom of Google, or the ones you see from the LSI graph. Really what it is, though, is just like I said, adding related keywords in these different tags. Even you can see in what Backlinko does in here, he's just taking all of probably the related keywords he's finding in this article and just writing about them, right?
Okay.
LSI keywords and title and description tags, same sort of concept. So another big ranking factor, Jake, which isn't really related to content, is your load time. So anything below a 2-second load time is usually good, is you know, not going to affect your rankings. Anything above like a 2-second load time, you actually you can see that most rankings at that point start dropping. So I'll show you, if we go to a tool called Page Speed Insights and we go into here, this will actually show us that this page is not very fast. So you can see like the things that it recommends fixing, like optimize the images,
okay,
desktop, leverage browser caching, and then if you don't know what this stuff means, you can just click on it and it'll tell you what it means. But since we're using Squarespace, there isn't a lot we can do here.
Yeah.
Cool. So the next thing is duplicate content. So this is a really big deal. Google like created an entire algorithm to deal with duplicate content. It's called Panda. And so basically what that means is if we have all of this content that you see on this homepage, say it's just copy and pasted into this page, what's gonna happen? Basically, Google's gonna look and say, okay, well, this website doesn't have unique content on all their page. It looks like it's just like taking content and replicating it across other pages. Maybe we'll try to rank the home page for the keyword because it seems like the more authoritative page. We definitely won't rank this other page because it's the exact same page. And we'll probably give this one like not as good of a benefit of ranking because it's saying the exact same thing on as this other page, right?
Okay.
The reason why they did this mainly, Jake, is because a lot of people ended up taking like other people's content and then copying it as their own, right? Mm-hmm. Or they take content and then like spin it into really low quality content, and then it shows up for Google searchers, and then they're reading the content like, this sucks. So that's why they're trying to, you know, make sure that it's quality, right? So no duplicate content. One of the best ways to check if there is duplicate content on a website, so say we get a new client, all we'd have to do is just take their URL, go to like duplicate, you can just type in duplicate content checker, and this will actually end up helping people rank a lot higher if they have a lot of duplicate content. So you go like that, 70 plus, that's 144 I believe, perform check. And what this will do is this will look through all of Google's search results basically and see if you have any content that's similar anywhere else. And of course all we're seeing is like, you know, yellow pages and whatnot, which is fine. If this was showing up like on completely other websites, yeah, we would want to make sure that that's not showing up there. But I guess this isn't, sorry, so this is just showing on other websites. We want to actually look at something called SiteLiner, which will actually check internally on our own website and see if there's any content on our website that's duplicate. So you'd probably want to check both.
Okay.
But so you can see common content, unique content. So common content means like it's related. Unique content means that it's like completely unique. And then duplicate content, as we see here, means that these words that are highlighted, so like testimonial, is showing up exactly on other pages. Same with the contact form. But this is normal stuff, right?
Right.
If it wasn't something like a testimonial where it was just like, you know, all of this, that's not good. So this is something you can easily do for people, and it'll definitely help out a lot. Keyword to your mother? What the heck? Alright. Okay, so next thing is the rel canonical. So basically what this is, Jake, is it's like a tag that says, so like if we go in here and we look, I don't know if they have it on Squarespace. Oh yeah, there it is. So it says rel canonical, right? So this used to not be a thing until Google made this. Basically what it is it's saying that this page is about this page. So that might sound weird, but like if this page wasn't about this page, say it was about another page, then Google would rank that other page instead of this one and not rank this page. And the reason why that's important is like say you had 50 pages about red shirts, right? Because they're all different types of shirts, but they all have the exact same description, the exact same title, and they're really just for like people who are browsing the website and they want to see the different pages, right? But from a search engine standpoint, you don't want to have 50 different shirts that are basically the same shirts ranking, right? Because that's duplicate content.
Right.
So how you get rid of that is you say, okay, well this page, or all of the 49 pages, are about this page. So you would say, you know, so say this was iPhone repair Santa Barbara slash red iPhone 1. So that's the first one. Say there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would put canonicals on all of those back to red iPhone.
Okay.
So that there wouldn't be duplicate content. It would just be this one page ranking. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
So like basically this canonical right here, it would say red iPhone, it would just be pointing to this on all of the different pages that are like different variations of the iPhone. Like say there was like, you know, a different camera or a different.
Yeah.
You're not going to really have to use these. I'm just telling you what they mean. Okay. It's kind of how you. This is kind of how you get rid of duplicate content issues, right? That or you just no index the page or delete it.
Yeah.
Page loading speed via Chrome. So this is supposed to be a ranking factor. I think you kind of know what that means. Yeah. Image optimization. So compressing the images. You can use a site. So like say for instance we're on Wild Apricot and we don't have like automatic image compression like WordPress uses. Right. You can actually go like this, take this image we just took that we made, drag it in here, boom, it's compressed.
Okay.
Now that site page loads a little bit faster.
Okay.
And that's all you have to do.
That's how to do that with the...
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
The next thing is you'll see, look, the keywords are in here, right? We probably don't want them all capitalized, though. We'll just do On Page Basics 2017 tutorial, right? That's pretty much it. So that image is now properly can be properly read by search engines versus like, you know, 123 dot, you know, PNG or something, right?
Right.
Because nobody wants to freaking, well, no search engine wants to read that. Recency of content updates. So apparently it's really important to keep your content updated frequently, because then Google knows like, hey, look, they're spending time making sure that this content's up to date for our users. We want to make sure that this content is, since it's fresh, is ranking higher than other content pieces. Okay. So that's why these skyscrapers work so well, Jake, is because you can add 30 tips, come back in a couple months and add 30 more, and it'll help you rank even higher.
Right.
Magnitude of content updates. So apparently, like adding and removing like entire sections from the content. So like, you know, adding 30 tips or 5,000 words versus like, you know, maybe just changing like a paragraph, you know.
Okay.
Historical update page updates. So apparently how often the page is changed helps it rank. Keyword prominence, having a keyword appear in the first 100 words. So this is something that I don't know if you saw the Yoast plugin, how it shows you like, you know, the different things that you should focus on. So you can see like having your main keywords show up early on in your text is supposed to help you rank higher, because Google apparently takes like the top of the page more seriously than like lower down,
okay.
right? Because that's where people can do all their keyword stuffing where like nobody reads.
Right.
Also because they're reading it first. So keyword prominence, having a keyword appear in the first 100 words of a page content. We just talked about that. Keywords and H2, H3 tags. So we talked about that. The different heading tags apparently are supposed to be a higher relevancy signal than just like having it in the regular paragraphs.
Okay.
Keyword word order. An exact match of a searcher's keyword. So this is kind of what we're talking about with the iPhone repair. So we put that in there, and it's like the exact match like phrase versus like, you know, iPhone repair, get your phone fixed quickly in Santa Barbara, versus like the actual entire phrase matching.
Right.
Supposed to help you rank higher.
Okay.
Go back here. So outbound link quality. So apparently also, Jake, having links to other authoritative websites helps you rank higher. So like if you're in this page and you're linking to like, you know, Santa Barbara Wikipedia, that kind of shows you know what you're talking about the area, right?
Yeah.
So having these external links on your page is supposed to help you rank higher. So in our skyscraper guides, we could say, you know, a lot of people go to chiropractors or whatever to get information about X, Y, and Z. As you can see in this article, and then you would point to another really high authority article already sort of ranking for things that are similar.
Okay.
What Backlinko actually recommends, or Brian Dean, is he says 1 to 2 external links to other authoritative sites every 1,000 words, and 2 to 3 internal links to other pages on your website per 1,000 words. Okay. The reason why you do that is because we were talking about this earlier, you're passing link influence to those other pages, helping them rank higher.
Right.
So outbound link quality, we just talked about that. Outbound link theme. So apparently if you're going to be talking about chiropractors, you're going to be hopefully linking to things that are around chiropractors, not about apples, right?
Right.
Grammar and spelling. Apparently there's some debates on whether or not this is a ranking factor. But I would say just from a user experience standpoint, you'd want to have decent grammar so people don't, you know, leave because they don't think you know what you're talking about, right? Syndicated content. So we talked about this. So like people who just take content. What syndicated content means is it's people who just take content and then copy it, right? So if the content's not original, we don't want it. That's why it's so important to take people what they put in writer access or wherever we're getting it, and then plug them into like a plagiarism checker, where you would just go like this, and this is sort of like Siteliner. Except this will actually just take paragraphs and look them up on the web. So you would go like that, and then it'll actually go out and see if this content is anywhere else on the internet, or if it's plagiarized. So you see that it says 100% because it found it on my website.
Oh, okay.
So if we plug this our content from writer access in here, and it's not published yet, we have a problem.
Right.
Okay, helpful supplementary content. So Google came out with this new like guidelines sort of deal where there's 2 types of content. They say there's like original content, which is like the main part of the website, and then there's supplementary content, which is like content that appears on every single page. So if we look at like my website or my other website, you'll see on every single blog page I have this. I have this, related categories, recent posts, and then in the footer I have, you know, basically this on every page, right? So Google doesn't look at that as duplicate content, they look at it as supplementary content, meaning that you're having this for more of a user experience, right? Because on every page you know that users are probably going to want some of this stuff. So that's okay, and apparently having good supplementary content that people like can help be a ranking factor overall, like to your other pages. But is it going to help like in terms of having content? No, it's just there for like more of a user experience standpoint. Number of outbound links. So having too many outbound links can be a bad thing.
Right.
Because basically the more links you have, the more that link dilutes the value of the next link, and then all of the other links. So say you're trying to rank 5 pages on your website, and you internally link the first, like in the first paragraph of your guide to those 5 pages, you're not going to get as much value to those pages as if you're just to link to one of them.
Okay.
Multimedia, so images, video, and other visual content supposed to add to your rankings. So like we were talking about, like the image names.
Right.
Of course, the alt tags, which I think you know about, right?
A little bit, yeah.
You just put in the, like, it's basically like the name of the URL or the image, except it just says alt tag, which is basically what the screen readers are going to read for blind people. Blind people use, so like, you know, some people are blind, of course, and they aren't able to read images, so they have to go, you know, use this alt equals Google reading level. They go, okay, that's what that image is about. How you put these alt tags in there on WordPress, you literally just click on the image and it'll say, what do you want this alt text to be? Okay. And then on Wild Apricot, I have no idea. I'm sure there's probably something that they use.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's important to have an alt tag, and usually the alt tags just pretty much replicate what the URL or the file name is, right?
Okay.
So number of internal links pointing to a page. So if you have a ton of other pages, like we were talking about the iPhone repair, pointing to your one page. So like on every single page, Jake, I link back to the home page because I know this is the most important page we're trying to rank.
Right.
So Google sees all these other pages are passing link influence to this main page. So it's really important when you're doing these, and then when we're doing our articles, say we do 6 articles over the next 5 months. We're going to probably want to internally link all these articles to help them rank higher, right?
Okay.
You get the point. All right, broken links. So broken links, having a bunch of broken links on a page is going to help, is going to make that page less valuable in Google's eyes, because it's like, well, this page is outdated, right? They don't know whether or not, you know. So one of the ways you can see if you have broken links is you can use like a scanner. WordPress has a tool called Broken Link Checker, which will literally just email you anytime you have a broken link, and you can just go in and click on it and it'll fix it.
Okay.
But with like Wild Apricot, we're going to have to use, like, you know, you can just Google Broken Link Checker and it'll scan the site for you and tell you if there's any.
Oh, okay.
Also in Search Console, they'll alert you too in the messages usually.
How does that happen?
So say somebody's site gets taken down, or they like move the, like what happened with the URL with John, remember?
Yeah. How
they changed the URL, and it was, instead of it being about whatever the old URL was, it was the new URL, which was, you know, about us, which wasn't the URL that was on there for like 8 months.
Okay.
So when that got changed, what happens? Everybody who's linking to that now sees there's a broken link.
Okay.
So all of the websites that are passing juice to that page are now going to take their links off and make that page rank lower.
Okay.
So now you can see why that's so bad.
Right.
Which we actually just fixed it today.
Okay.
It was literally just a button that we clicked.
Okay.
So reading level, there's something called the Fletch reading score. And apparently Google looks at like how hard it is to read there's like an algorithm that'll actually calculate how hard it is to read. I don't know if this is true, if they actually use that, but basically you just want to make sure that people can read your stuff, right? That's what all this stuff comes down to. It's like a lot of this stuff's just like really overcomplicating how, like, you just need to make sure you're saying what you're trying to rank for,
right,
and that people can actually, you know, enjoy the stuff you're giving them, versus just like bunch of random stuff that you're just pumping out there with, you know, keywords that you're just stuffing in there just to rank.
Yeah.
Okay, so affiliate links, what that means is, like, if you're trying to sell a product, you can sell other people's products, make money off of it, right? He could put a link in here, say, here, buy this tool, it'll help you figure this out. You can click on it and go buy it, and then they'll pay him.
Okay.
I don't know if this affects your ranking, like by having a bunch of affiliate links. I don't think it's that big of a deal to talk about.
Okay.
So HTML errors, so like if there's a lot of things wrong with your code on your site, like maybe the freaking, header of your site's not rendering, or you can't like click on a button, like maybe there's a bunch of broken tags or something.
Okay.
This just has to do with like coding and web design, which we don't do. So we're not going to worry about that. We just want to make sure that if we get sites, they actually work, right?
Right.
Page host, domain authority. And if you really wanted to get into web designs before we continue with this, you can go to W3C, which I don't think you're going to want to do. And you can put in a URL. It'll tell you everything that's wrong with the code of that website.
Okay.
So if we went into here for my site, and with any site, you're going to find problems with this thing because this thing's like impossible to get like 100% score on.
Yeah.
But you'll see like there's an error in this attribute, right? So if we ever get a full-time web development person, we can have them do all this stuff.
Right.
But of course, even with these errors, you can still rank tons of pages, right? Page host, domain authority. So domain authority is a metric that this company Moz made. And I think you might have, do you have the Moz bar yet?
No.
So if you type in Moz bar Chrome extension, basically what this will do is it'll give you like a little bar that'll show you like the most important parts of a web page. It's a good tool to have if you're doing SEO.
Okay.
So if we go to here and we click it on, I don't know why it's not going on. Oh, I might have to refresh the page. Let's refresh it. There we go. Oh, come on. There we go. So then you just click on this, and now you can see all the most important aspects. So the URL, how long the title tag is,
Okay.
if there's a meta description, which I'm pretty surprised Backlinko's not using a meta description. Also the H1. This is apparently way too many H1 tags, so it's pretty crazy that he's kind of screwing up here. All the H2s, and then you can go to other things like the load time, and then you can look in. This is what we're talking about, is the domain authority, which basically it's just calculated. The domain authority is calculated based on how many links are pointing to your domain. So if you have a lot of links, you usually have a really high domain authority, and then the page authority is somewhat similar.
Okay.
You can increase this yourself by either getting more links or doing internal linking to your other pages.
Okay.
So if you want to have a lot of really high page authority, which is supposed to correlate with higher rankings, you would want to do a lot of the internal linking, and then also hopefully go out and find a few links related to your main topic. And that's why we do those. That's why we don't just buy content, Jake.
Yeah.
Because if we get people to contribute to our posts, what's going to end up happening after we publish it? They're likely going to link to it, right?
Right.
So if they link to it, what ends up happening? This goes up, and usually so do our rankings.
Okay.
Markup. We're not going to cover this stuff right now because it's a little bit more advanced, but we'll cover it later. So yeah, it's a good tool to have. You might want to put that in your toolbox if you get a chance. Pages page rank. So this is similar. This is what Google used to use as a metric to calculate, whether or not a page should rank high. They don't use it anymore. They use it internally, but they don't show it anymore for anybody because everybody's using that as like a metric, and they were tired of like people just like saying like the only reason they're ranking is because of a number versus like actually providing like good experience for people, right?
Right.
URL length. Basically, you don't want to have a URL like this, Jake. Google ranking factors, 2017, white hat strategies for people, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Under 20. Because apparently Google only reads like the first couple of words, and then anything after that starts to look like, even people, nobody wants to read that. It looks awful, right? So you want to keep it anywhere between like 3 to 5 words if you can.
Okay.
URL path, he's saying that having the page closer to the home page is supposed to be helpful. I don't believe that. I believe that it's actually better to have categories. So you would do like SEO blog, category SEO or something. Mainly because like people are going to look at this, right? They're going to be like, okay, I'm at this page under this category under this blog, right? That makes sense for a user standpoint.
Yeah.
Versus them just being like, okay, I'm on a random page on anywhere in the website.
Right.
And I have no idea if there's more posts about this or not. So yeah. Human editors, although never confirmed, Google has filed a patent for a system that allows human editors to influence SERPs so people can manually go and change things, apparently. I don't know if that's true, it probably is. Page category, so we were just talking about that. You can actually rank categories. So if we typed in, like, you know, backlinko.com/SEO, that's his category that he's, you know, puts maybe 500 to 1,000 different posts under. Could be a good chance that he might rank for this keyword with his category, because it would have a bunch of posts about that category. Somebody who's a good example of this is that guy Jeff we were working with, where he was ranking an entire page around I think like how to open a dispensary in California, just under one category, getting thousands of clicks. So WordPress tags, we never use these. We only use categories. What tags are is like having related pages. So like let's see. So if we go in here, you can see like these are categories. I don't even think WordPress is using tags, which is really funny. But this is what they look like, and you've probably seen them before. It'll be like, choose from our most recent tags. And then you can click on all these different tags, which will be, there could be like hundreds. And there usually becomes like a lot of thin content issues and duplicate content issues. So we just use categories. Yeah, so if you ever get the chance to use tags, don't use them. And how you use a category, Jake, is you go in to to your editor. Jesus, we have 27 people. What is up, everyone? Okay, so we'd log in. And then the cool thing about WordPress, Jake, is if you're logged in, once you're logged in, you can go to any page and then just edit it straight from that page. So we go here, and we go to edit posts. We now have this bar. So you'll see on the side, these are all the categories we've made. And you can just add to them. You only want to have, per site, about 5 to 10 categories. So you make the categories really general. You make them like SEO. You don't make it like SEO 2017 category with, you know, only talks about blue shirts or something. You'd be making it very general, because you have to think you're going to have this for a long time, and you don't want to have tons of categories with like 2 posts in each category. You want the categories to be as filled up as possible. Then you'll see the next thing is tags. Tags are basically categories, except hell. So just know not to ever use these under any circumstance. There's no reason. If you ever see them on a site, you basically just go into this plugin that we have called Yoast, and we just no index them. So like a lot of this stuff, you can see like categories we keep indexed, tags we no index, and then there's other things like authors. We don't really want authors to show up in the search results. What that means is like you can have say the entity Jake writes about a certain subject on WordPress on chaserunner.com. If you wrote 50 posts and then say you put them under a certain category, those would all show up on the category, but they would also show up underneath your author page. And we don't want that, because that's just duplicate content. So we no index that. There's a ton of different pages we no index. This is more has to do with like setting up sites. This doesn't really have to do with on page, which is what we're trying to cover right now. But you should know a little bit about that stuff just so you can understand like how this other stuff works, right? URL string, so the categories in the URL are read. And if you have something called breadcrumbs on your site, which is just like a plugin you can add, what it'll do is it'll take your URL path, and instead of just showing like the // well, it's doing it right here. But if you get lucky, you'll see right here, it'll show the arrows like that. And the difference is that if the breadcrumbs are picked up correctly, which it looks like they got taken out. I don't know why they're not here anymore. That's probably why it's not working. But if you have breadcrumbs set up correctly, it'll look like this. So right here, that's breadcrumbs. It just shows you where you're at.
Okay.
So like, you know, home, blog, SEO, and then here. So if you wanted to go back, you could go back. It's really good for user experience, and honestly, we should be using it. I don't know why we're not. I thought we were, but maybe got disabled, maybe by John or something.
Yeah.
References and sources. So citing references and sources like research papers do, may be a sign of quality. So just like you'd make any quality freaking article, you'd probably want to, you know, add something to cite where you learned it from, or
Right.
it's all basic stuff. You
Yeah.
get the point. Bullets and numbered lists. Apparently, this will help you rank in certain scenarios, and also if you're doing certain things like recipes or something, it'll help you get featured. So what I mean by that is, like, if we look up chocolate chip cookie recipe, chocolate cook chippies. You'll see here it's featured, right?
Right.
Which is different than this, you know, just the regular. So what is this? It's a numbered list. So apparently by having these numbered lists in here, you can be more likely to show up in the featured snippet, which is also called the knowledge panel. And this even happens for like SEO articles, like White Hat SEO. There it is.
Okay.
Even though that's not a list, apparently having like those list things in there will actually help you.
Okay.
And this is also correlates. Usually this stuff also gets pulled on like iPhones and stuff.
Okay.
So like if somebody says like, what is White Hat SEO? Sometimes it'll read off of this.
Okay.
And then you can actually click into this from your iPhone.
Okay.
So it's really important to optimize for, you know, basically user experience, as you understand by now, because I keep repeating it. Priority of sitemap. So you don't have to worry about what that means, but apparently having like all of your most important URLs in your sitemap, which your sitemap's just like an overview of the different pages on your site.
Okay.
So too many outbound links. We already talked about that. Quantity of keywords pages rank for. So you can see that apparently having a bunch of keywords rankings for one page will help the overall quality of like what Google thinks of your site or of your page. So that's why you'll see like certain pages, like for instance, if we go into the page that I'm ranking, that huge skyscraper, it's ranking for a ton of different keywords because there's so many words on it, right?
Right.
Which it's also ranking #1 for its main keywords. So if we go in here, you'll see like this. So like the main keyword is ranking like #1 for it because it's 142 clicks, and then other variations of that, right? So that's going to probably help it rank overall for its main keywords. Who knows though? A lot of this stuff is all guesses, you know.
Yeah.
Page age, so how long the page has been up. This is definitely a big thing. So when I first published that article we just looked at, it didn't rank on the first page for like I think a month or 2 months.
Okay.
So definitely when you first publish things, that's why it's so gnarly with clients, is because like you'll be working on content for a while and like they won't see anything. They're paying all this money, but they don't necessarily understand how SEO works, where it's like, you know, it takes time.
Right.
Which is like why one of our clients we had when we ranked this guy for beginner fishing tips, he signed off before he got this #1, and now he's getting like thousands of clicks a month.
Okay.
So that's why it's such a bummer to like. That's why we try to package in that like trifecta we were talking about before.
Right.
Because if you can start giving them immediate results, you keep them around long enough so that they can see the you know the end goal results.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay. So user-friendly layout. We already know about that, right? That's just design. Park domains. So this just has to do with. I don't even know. I do not know. I think it has to do with like old domains that aren't really publishing any content. Useful content. Let's just look it up really quick. Additional domains which you can host on your account. They'll display the same website as your primary domain, but don't have separate statistics. Interesting. So useful content, that's obvious, right?
Right.
Content provides value and unique insights, obvious. Contact us page. Apparently having a contact us page and an about page and like a privacy policy on your website is supposed to add to the trust value of your website.
Okay.
Domain trust, so there's a metric you can use to like see how highly trusted your site is. More arbitrary metrics. Site architecture, so this has to do with like your URLs and whether or not you're actually like doing like internal linking to the right pages. And
Okay.
basically how internal linking works is like a lot of people get really caught up in this stuff is you're just linking to other relevant pages. Like if somebody was reading this and you're like, you know, about you can read more about TrustRank here, that makes sense, right? You wouldn't just be linking to like you can read more and then link to like something that says read like about reading more. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
what? Because a lot of people do that just to pass page value, you know.
Okay.
So site architecture, site updates, so how often the site's updated, we talked about that. Number of pages, so if you have a ton of pages on your website and say only 5 of them are ranking, chances are you're going to be sending a really low quality signal to Google because it looks like you're just like publishing content just to publish content.
Right.
So a really good thing to do is like to every now and then go to your search console and then look through your pages and see which of them are actually getting clicks and then which of them aren't. And if there's a lot that aren't, it's probably a good idea to get rid of them or combine them into a new post.
Okay.
Because then you're actually going to be cleaning up your site. Google's going to be like saying, oh, there's only quality content on the site that's ranking. We want to help give them a boost.
Okay.
So number of pages, presence of sitemap. So if you have a sitemap, Google's able to crawl your site better. It's just a plugin. You just download sitemap, easy sitemap or something. Site uptime, lots of downtime from site. So if site's down because the hosting's terrible, every time you go to the website it says it's down. That's probably a problem.
Right.
Server location. So if your web hosting server is like in a different, like say it's in like China, apparently it's supposed to add like a ranking factor or something. Like, I don't know. I heard some weird stuff about this. I don't know how true this is. SSL. So this is a ranking factor for sure. Unfortunately for some people, like the people we're working with, if you know who I'm talking about,
Yeah.
It doesn't just automatically help.
Right.
And it's a very small ranking factor. But basically what it is, as I think you know, just has that little secure button up there. And what that has to do with is like it's basically your connection secure. It's really hard for you to leak information if somebody was to try to like intercept the information with your with hacking.
Okay.
Terms of service and privacy page. Apparently having this, like I said, helps add trust, sort of like the SSL does. Duplicate meta descriptions. So if you have a bunch of meta descriptions that say the exact same thing on every page, of course you want those to be unique, just like your content.
Right.
So there will be some websites that just say the same thing on every single meta description, and even though it doesn't show in the content, it's still showing in the search results, right?
Okay.
Breadcrumb navigation, we talked about that.
Yeah.
So that's good to have. Mobile optimized. Basically, if your site isn't like optimized for a mobile phone and it's just like one of those, sometimes you'll see it. You'll go into like your phone and you have to like completely resize the freaking page just to be able to look at it.
Yeah.
If that's not optimized, you're gonna get a really bad ranking signal because of that.
Okay.
And it's gonna derank your site. So. A lot of the sites now are automatically mobile optimized. So like a lot of the themes you download on WordPress or like Squarespace is all already mobile optimized.
Okay, nice.
YouTube. So of course you can rank YouTube videos, and then it's good to have these in your pages if you can, having relevant videos.
Right.
Also, by having these videos embedded on your site, if you get plays through here, apparently helps your YouTube videos rank higher as well in the YouTube search engine. So site usability, If it's difficult to read or navigate, you know, it's going to hurt your user experience, which is going to make your bounce rates go up, which is basically when a bounce rate is basically when somebody goes to your site, doesn't really click on anything, or and then basically leaves after about 30 seconds.
Okay.
So if you have a really high bounce rate, it's usually a really bad thing, and it's a bad signal to Google.
Okay.
Use of Google Analytics and Webmaster Tools. Apparently some people say that this helps with ranking factors. I don't know if that's true. Basically just making sure that this code's on your site and you're using it.
Okay.
User reviews, site reputation. So apparently it's a good thing to have like tons of really positive reviews and on like Google My Business and Yelp and Facebook and whatnot. I know this is especially true for local. I don't know about national.
Okay.
So for local businesses, if you have a ton of like 5-star reviews on Yelp, that'll definitely be able to help you rank locally. Linking domain age, so basically backlinks from domains that have been around for a while is supposed to help rank higher than like ones that are brand new.
Okay.
Number of linking root domains, basically how many home pages are linking to you. I'm going to skip a lot of these. Like C-class IPs. I still don't really understand this. I think it basically has to do with like number of IPs in the same sort of like area.
Okay.
Number of linking pages. Alt tags for image links, we talked about that.
Right.
Apparently links from edu sites and .gov sites are like supposed to be higher ranking signals.
Okay.
Because they're like harder to get.
Yeah.
But Matt Cutts says here, which was like the old main guy at Google, said that, you know, it's not supposed to be as a difference between the two, between these and the other top level domains. Authority of linking page, so you know how much a page authority or page rank that page has linking. So I mean, we can pretty much skip a lot of this stuff. Like, you get the point by now. Like, a lot of this stuff's very, very similar now.
Oh my god.
What?
There's so many.
Yeah, we could go on forever. But the whole point is it's a very reoccurring theme. And I think you can kind of see what it is it's like when you're optimizing this stuff, you're going for what people are looking for, right?
Right.
It's not rocket science. You're not like you know, doing brain surgery here. What you're doing is you're creating a page, right? People are looking for this page right here. They're typing in Google's ranking factors, right? Google ranking factors. Now, when you look at this and you see 4 most important ranking factors, and then you see 200, which one are you going to click on?
Right.
So that's the first thing, right? The other thing is, like, long form content just naturally ranks better. You can see 4, 30, 7, 12, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with here, Whiteout SEO. So we got 100 plus tips, 7, 4, 7, right?
Right.
So it's kind of a reoccurring theme here, right? So let's go beginner fishing tips. And a lot of this stuff I haven't even done link building. So like 38, 10, 4, right?
Okay.
So what I'm trying to get at here, Jake, is like a lot of this stuff isn't rocket science. What it is it's being able to create content that isn't just like just random, like you know, spun together, or just like really low quality. Like, you want to be able to give these people, like, when they click into this, if this was just junk,
yeah,
and in some cases even if it's just junk, you can still rank it as long as it's actually like well, you know, organized.
Right.
Because there's a lot of articles where you'll be reading the exact same information that you'd find somewhere else.
Okay.
But it's not completely copied over. However, here you can see like all of this stuff's really well thought out. Same with Backlinko. You know, it's all really well organized and thought out, and you know, it's not just like some random post. And then even with the beginner fishing tips, it's like something that somebody would want to read, you know?
Yeah.
So you get the point.
Yeah.
So for basic on page, like, all you really need to know, Jake, is like you don't need to be like amazing to do this stuff. You just have to know like basic SEO principles, which I think you kind of understand. When it comes to like more advanced stuff, a lot of that stuff we're not even going to be really doing, because a lot of this stuff we're doing is like more local.
Right.
And like for the national articles, a lot of it's just skyscraper content, and then we're just funneling people into like assets like Facebook groups or email newsletters. That's pretty much it. So yeah.
Cool. Third.
Do you have any questions?
No, I think for me, like, it all makes sense in theory. It's just kind of like getting all the, like, when you actually do it, just remembering all the different, like, websites that you can go to that help you, like the Search Console and all that stuff.
Right.
But
yeah, I mean, it just takes a little while to, like, you know, get used to it. But like,
the more you do it,
it's like it's easy, and then
yeah.
and then you'll realize after you do like one of these, it's basically the same thing. It's just replicated on a different subject.
Okay.
And it's all usually the same outline. You know what I mean? It's like, today we talk about, and the reason why people like this stuff, Jake, is because, like, you know, this is valuable stuff to them. Like, a lot of people won't go out of their way to create really unique things where it's like a huge list of like content that, you know, comes from somebody who like generally knows a good amount about the subject, or even if it's just like the fishing tips, like, you know, people are obviously looking for that stuff, and people aren't trying to just find like 3 tips on something. Like, nobody wants to read 3 tips,
Right.
because that's like a waste of time.
Yeah.
So if you can find something, or if you can like make something of quality, that's like a lot better than, you know, all these other articles, chances are you're going to be good to go. But one of the big things for this is measuring user intent. So like, if we look up like top chiropractic courses 2017, we're hoping that there's going to be something along the lines of this showing up, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean by this is like, it's not going to look like this. Hold on. Where it's like the ultimate guide of choosing a chiropractic school, right? Because why I'm saying that is because this is completely different user intent.
Right.
This isn't the top courses, right?
Right.
Even though that's our keyword.
Okay.
So that's what's so important, is like a lot of people, they'll start optimizing for something. So say you want to optimize for the word panda, and say you got like thousands of links to your site, right? And
Yeah.
you have the best panda bears in town. Doesn't matter, right? Because look, what shows up.
Okay.
The user intent is to find this song.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you're trying to optimize for this keyword. Now it does if you're trying to optimize for panda bears, because maybe you're going to be number 1 for that. But if you spend all of your time trying to optimize for this, and there's no search for that other one,
Yeah.
well, you're SOL. You're not doing well. So that's why it's always important, if we're going to be doing skyscrapers for people, that we check and see. Like, we actually look and see. Like sleeping tips. Okay, this is something we can beat, right? The top one is 22. How many do we have right now? Like 50?
Yeah.
So this could be an extra 800 monthly searches for us. And what happens if we do that and we accomplish that? Well, 1, we have a great article that's now ranking. 2, anybody who clicks on that, Jake, we can now funnel them into a Facebook group just like I do, right?
Right.
Boom. And we get their email. And then when we have people in the Facebook group like we do here, get out of here, you can see I can now message any of these people and start getting reviews. And so what does that do? Well, reviews do a bunch of things, but one of the things, they help you rank locally. You can add them to pages, and you can do a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
And then not only that, but say we release more content. Now we have a huge audience where anytime we release content, we then get a bunch of different... what the hell is this in my group? We then get a bunch of different people visiting that content, because why? It's under our group. They found the content through us, and that's why they're at the group.
Right.
So it's just one of the many advantages, right? And then you can also directly sell these people. We have people that we can now sell courses to. And then, of course, all of my lovely fans here, they're in here, which I love you guys. So anyways, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate all of you. If you haven't gotten a chance to leave a like, please leave a like if you like these videos. And until I see you all next time, Happy SEOing. Say bye, Jake.
See you guys.